My name's Amy Pham, I'm 30 years old and currently I work at Woolworths as the Senior Manager in the Range Optimization Analytics team. What we do is we look at what should the most optimal range be through optimizing against lots of different metrics across commercial, strategic and customer. And prior to that, I've done many roles in Woolworths across different banners. Also worked in product and project management. I do have a degree in analytics, but also in marketing as well. So prior to that, I did a few roles in some marketing areas. I think it would be remiss of me to talk about what I do outside of work. I do have a passion for dancing and I've danced since I was 5 years old and done a lot of sort of performances, teaching and have credentials in dance teaching. And right now I also own my own dance studio in the Inner West that holds about 50 classes across around 200 kids and adults. So yeah, really happy and pleased with, I guess, both my work and life balance that I've had today.
I'd like to talk more about your corporate experience first before we move on to your entrepreneurship. You gave us a great overview of your career trajectory and growth, and I noticed you mentioned you moving between various teams. Were these career choices strategic, or would you describe yourself as more of a go-with-the-flow person when it comes to professional opportunities?
Yeah, I think I've always been someone who's quite motivated and someone who's quite driven. And I think it's important in any career really understanding like what you value and where you want to go, but the values really should drive what your career looks like. So I did have a general idea of what I wanted to do, but I knew exactly the people that I wanted to work with and the culture that I wanted to be within. So that was really what drove me through my career. And I wanted to work with lots of different people and work with lots of different leaders because I really valued leadership. I value people and I value the quality. So I found the people that sort of helped me get there and that sort of helped me grow my career, as well as doing the best that I can in everything I can do. So I guess that's sort of how my career sort of led me to different places. I think Woolies has been such a great experience, really grown and evolved a lot within the team and within the business, really supportive environment and culture. And I think that's so important when you're learning, you're trying to grow your career. Just having the people around you is great, and Woolies has really helped me grow in my career.
So your background is in tech and analytics. We all know that there can be some real challenges for women in this industry and just in the corporate world in general. I'm really curious about your personal experience with this. What kind of obstacles have you run into yourself or maybe heard about from others? And I'd love to know what tactics you've picked up along the way to deal with these situations.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, the topic about being in this type of industry as a female. In general, in work, in life, everywhere, when you experience sort of these, I guess, dispositions or feeling like you're in a male-dominated industry or it's hard to sort of get through, I think it's really important to remember why you're there and to be really confident in yourself. I'm so strong about being authentic and being where your feet are, which is grounded. And that has really sort of led me through the last couple of years, is thinking about those statements. So it's really important around how you can just be yourself, how you can raise some of those topics in conversations, and just not be afraid to build resilience, build confidence in some of these situations, have the courage to have the conversation as well. So I think those are some of the key values or things that I keep in mind.
Let's not forget about the Women in MCV organization you're leading. Could you tell us about how this initiative came about and share your experience running it? What inspired you to take on this leadership role?
I think going to what I was thinking about before around being in sort of the tech or analytics industry as a female, I noticed in a lot of situations, whether that be like meetings or discussions or projects, there were a lot of situations where it was quite male dominated, like the male was speaking up, the females weren't speaking up. And I really wanted to do something about it and really wanted everyone to feel confident and comfortable to have an open conversation and have everyone be able to speak up. So I did get together with a couple of other females and discuss, what if we created a community together where we could just share our experiences and be ourselves and talk about these topics that we don't normally talk about in this environment. So it started from 3 women to 20 to 50, and we held a lot of different events around talking about topics on gender equality, unconscious bias, caring as a mother or having different stages of your life, juggling your mental load. A lot of these just topics that we may not really talk about in the environment. And it was such a nice, safe space for everyone to share their experiences, but then also share their strengths and what they really feel good about. Because that's what we want to bring to the workplace, is you feeling good about yourself and you feeling confident that you deserve to be there and you deserve to have a voice. And I think that's such an important part of me as well, and my values, is focusing on your strengths. So I really wanted to bring that to the Women in MCV group of, what are your strengths? So if you could list your top 5, what makes you feel really good, but also what comes easy and natural to you. And you should really focus on that, because that's how you have your edge. If you round out all your edges, then you become just like everyone else. So you want to be unique and you want to really focus on what you bring to the table and how you can just strengthen that for the better.
Let's move on to your dance studio. You are a corporate professional by day and business owner by night. How do you manage to balance your full-time career with your passions?
So I've been teaching for over 10 years and I was teaching at this studio and I've always had the idea of potentially owning a dance studio, but I wasn't sure when it would come about, or thinking that it would be a bit later in life once I lived my corporate life. But it sort of just came about. I had this really great opportunity come up last year where it was available for me to purchase and own the studio, and I just took the opportunity and ran with it. And I did work a lot of late nights, but it felt as rewarding as ever that you couldn't really imagine. So it was just an opportunity that came up that I really wanted to take, but I've always wanted to do something like this. I think it's important that everyone has a work and passion, and it doesn't have to be as extreme as what I'm doing, I guess, but everyone has their work life, but then everyone also has a passion, whether that be dancing or whether that be spending time with their family. And that time is actually so valuable and gives you so much more energy and strength. So owning the dance studio has been such a dream come true for me. I actually feel so warm and I feel more energized when I come out of the studio, even though I'm working at night. But it gives you more to work in the day and work in the night, and it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like something that you really value and something that just gives you a lot of just smiles, I guess.
We talked about the challenges in corporate for women. As a female entrepreneur, what other challenges you have faced? Are they similar to the challenges you mentioned before?
I think you'd probably find similar stories as a women in entrepreneur as well. When you're trying to deal with lots of different suppliers, or you're trying to deal with lots of different parents, or mainly all the little admin-y things that you need to do as a business owner. It does become quite male dominated, and you really need to speak up and own what you have as well, because you don't want to have sort of that misconception or that myth that as a female you aren't doing as well as a male. So being really strong and just believing in yourself, I think, is really important. So I guess those are the kind of things that go on.
Moving on to the main topic of International Women's Day, I want to ask about your opinions on gender equality.
I think gender equality is super interesting topic. What it means to me is that everyone is equal and everyone has the ability to have their own experiences and thoughts and opinions and ownership of things, just not depending on your gender or not depending on anything really. So everyone has that equal opportunity. I think it's also understanding that there's an equal distribution of power and influence, especially in the corporate environment or in the work environment. And it's having a culture where everyone understands that, and everyone actually also practices it as well in the little actions, but also the big actions too. I think it's just, it could just be based on what's happened in the past. Historically, I feel like there's always been an imbalance of male versus female, and we haven't really been educated about, what we can both bring to the table, and that there actually isn't really a difference, but there probably is a misconception or myth that males can do X and females can do Y, whether that's this industry, whether that's other industries, but actually I think everyone has the same chances and ability to do anything. So I think it's more of a misconception or myth.
The theme of this International Women's Day is Accelerate Action. Are there any actions you take in your life or recommend others to take to try bridge the gender gap?
Yeah, I think there's two sort of things you can do. One is start with the little actions, and the little actions do sort of build up to something bigger. So yeah, as an individual, there's so much that you can do in terms of having the conversation. It's within your day-to-day, like interactions, your body language, the way you speak about things. I think there's so much we can do, little by little, that will really add up. It really is about the conversation and just breaking down the barrier, because we do want to create that culture for change. So making sure that you spend the time thinking about it, also spend the time actually actioning it as well within your day-to-day. I think the second thing is a little bit bigger, is just creating that community or creating those events or activities where you can bring together these topics and it becomes the forefront of the conversation. I think that's super important, and that was sort of the reason I began Women in MCV, so we can make it heard and be known and start to grow it. And then it's now, a Women in Commercial and Operations initiative at Woolworths, which I'm like really, really proud of, that it's just becoming bigger and bigger. And I think that's how you start the change, is just starting little but going big.